What's up, Battletech fans? Today I'm going to show you the easiest way to get some good old-fashioned green machines on the table in about an hour each. I've chosen Aaron D. Chevalier's Atlas for this, as voted on by you, and I did that to show you how easy it is, and maybe bring back just a little bit of joy for you in the painting process, because this process is admittedly pretty fun. As usual, all of the materials you'll need for this are in the video description, so feel free to follow along as we go and check out that list later. Alright, let's get started. So I started with the usual quick application of Duplicolor Sandable White Primer. I do this to get multiple layers of primer on the model so that the actual paint sticks and doesn't bead up when I spray it on later. Just give it a basic coat, and don't worry if you miss a little bit here or there. Just do your best. Now I want to darken this up before I start, because I want the olive in Olive Drab to be the cornerstone of this whole endeavor. Remember, the black undercoat is to dull down the top coat color and give it a more dark, flat feel. Now, I'll use Death Guard Green spray to coat the entire miniature. And before you say it, I know it's spendy. However, when you consider the cost spread out over the number of miniatures you'll paint this way, the cost is much more palatable. This is for folks who want to get a company or so painted up without spending what feels like a million years on each one, or really having to possess even intermediate level skills. If your hands shake, this will work. If you can't see so well, this will also work. If the extra $7 a can gives you peace of mind, is it really that expensive? This is my new setup for right now, so tell me what you think of it in the comments. With this step, I want to show you that you don't always need a white or gray undercoat in order to use contrast paint. I hear all the time that contrast paints are strictly for beginners, but don't buy into any of that nonsense. Painters of all skill levels can find neat things to use contrast paints for, and this is just one of the ones I found. With Militarum Green, go ahead and coat the entire miniature, but do yourself a favor. Leave a little water in the bristles of your brush when you go to apply it. I like to dip my brush in the water and then just tap it a few times against the rim of the water cup to shake off the excess and leave a bit actually still in the bristles. This will keep the contrast paint from going on too dark, and it will allow us to layer up some more green in the next step. Once the contrast paint dries, there's no need to thin the Athonian camo shade like the step before. Hit the entire miniature with this at full strength. I like to leave large pools in the eyes so that it dries and makes them look sunk in, menacing, and gives the overall vibe of something you don't want to mess with. Less work for you that way, too. It's much easier to hit the eyes with a couple mid-sized drops of shade than it is to try and paint that detail in there with a tiny brush. Once the shade is dry and the eyes are to your liking, grab your favorite large dry brush and get out Straken Green. For dry brushing, add a small amount of paint to the bristles and brush most of it off on a napkin or paper towel, like I have here. Use your fingernail to test how much paint is coming off the brush before applying it to the miniature. You're only wanting to have a very light dusting of paint coming off on each pass of the brush, so once you've wiped off as much as you feel like is good, you can start going to town. Remember, you can always add more, but you can't remove it. So if you're nervous, start slow and work your way up. Notice how I'm not putting any kind of precision movement into this at all. I'm wanting to use this technique to highlight the areas of the miniature that would most likely be exposed to light, while leaving the bits that would be in shadow just a tad darker. So I'll put more effort into dry brushing the top areas of the miniature, and leaving things like undersides, joints, and the like a little darker so as to give the optical illusion of shadow. Remember, you're not actually doing anything, you're just making it look like you did.
When you do things right, people won't be sure you've done anything at all.
Now you're almost done. I like to use Leadbelcher for my metallics, but your mileage may vary. Use whatever metallic you like or happen to have on hand. There's really no wrong silver to use here, so pick out the spots on the miniature you'd like to be metallic before you start painting them, just so you have a basic idea of what you're doing. For me, it's things like the fists, some vents, joints, missile pods, etc. There really is no right or wrong way, just paint the stuff you feel like needs to be metallic. Once you've gotten that finished, break out the Nuln Oil shade and use it to go over all the metallics. Remember, a little goes a long way here, so work your way up if you're not sure how much to use. This is like inking a drawing for a comic book, essentially. Once the metallics have been coated, give it a little bit of time to dry before moving on. And that's it, you're done. I didn't do any decals, battle damage, or basing on this model because this is a quick and easy tutorial with no bells and whistles. I'll do as much of that stuff as I want when the cameras are off. I added a little face to mine because I like to do that, but you don't have to. All I've done here to finish it off is paint the sides of the base and note which side is the front facing with a different color. I hope you found this basic tutorial useful, and if so, please leave a like and a comment. Subscribe if you haven't already if you want to see more painting videos like this one. Thanks for watching. I'm Tuckdavian, and we'll see you next time out on the Space Lanes.
Be sure to smash our like button and subscribe to our channel.
Crowdfunding is when lots of people give you small amounts of money to help your passion project come to life.